My next guest is an award-winning photographer who has used her talent to turn the ultimate loss into something she calls a win. For 27 years, Deanna Dikeman snapped a photo of her parents as they waved goodbye to her from their driveway in Sioux City, Iowa. What started as Deanna's way of dealing with the sadness of leaving soon turned into a special project that has taken on even greater meaning now that both of her parents have passed away. Deanna thought turning the images into a book would help others understand how to process the ultimate loss and to focus on memories and moments shared rather than what has been lost. That book is called Leaving and Waving. Please welcome Deanna Dikeman to the TAM Fam. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you, honestly, for this book. I lost my father 14 years ago in January. And seeing the way you've captured your parents' story in this ritual was so beautiful. How did this idea come to you?
Well, it didn't start out as a project. The first image I took was just a snapshot. I was leaving. I was in the passenger seat. Mom came running out to the end of the driveway to wave goodbye. I had color film in my camera, and the scene was, the green grass, the red house, the pink blouse, the blue shorts, the blue sky. And I thought, wow, cool picture. And I just took it. And then a couple years later, I was leaving and I was feeling a little sad, and I took another picture. And the whole time I had been working on a project of photographing my parents. And it was only 17 years later that I realized I had started a series. I went back through my negatives and I found all these goodbye pictures.
What did they think of the experience as you were photographing them over those years, 2.5 decades? What were they saying about this process?
They were pretty good-naturedly going along with it, and it started to turn into our goodbye ritual. I'd load the car, we'd give our hugs and kisses. My mom would always cry a little bit, have some tears. And then as I started to leave, I'd get out my camera, I'd have it ready, and I'd take some pictures. So it was kind of silly in a way. It was a way to make us smile at a very sad moment, because I lived 400 miles away. It was a trip to go see them, a trip to get back home, and I didn't know when I'd go back again. And I think probably in the back of my mind, you leave your parents and they're getting older, and you think, what if something happens?
Your father passed away in 2009. He was 91 years old. That's a blessing in itself. But you kept the tradition going with just your mother, taking photographs of her alone in the driveway. What was that like to go from the two to her alone?
Oh, it was really sad the first time I left after her funeral. And as I got ready to go, Mom even said to me, "Oh, Deanna, no more pictures." And by then I had seen that I was doing a project, and I'm an artist. And I said, "Mom, we're kind of doing this now. I'd like to keep going." And it was a mild protest. She let me do it. And at that point, we knew we were waving goodbye, and it went back into our fun, friendly ritual. It wasn't anything intrusive.
This show is about, finding, if you will, a win in the midst of loss, right? And this is the ultimate loss, the loss of a loved one, the loss of a parent, and having to say goodbye and somehow finding a way to focus on the things that were gained in that journey shared together. And when your mother passed away in 2017, you took one last photo of an empty driveway. What was that like for you? Did you instantly understand and process the significance of that photo we're looking at?
Oh, yeah. I was very nervous when I took the picture. It probably took me a half an hour to take that one photograph. And I moved around from one side to the other and set up the tripod in the driveway. And I knew it had to be that day, and it had to be when I was leaving. And I was crying because that driveway was empty for the first time in my life, and it would always be empty.
When you think about what you've learned and what you're sharing with oh my goodness, just seeing that picture and not knowing them personally, but seeing it and following their photos as an admirer of the work, but understanding there's a bigger message here about loss and processing what we think we've lost, what we know we've lost, honestly, but what we can gain in that. What's your message for people?
Well, for me, I was able to go back and look at the photographs and see the love in my parents' eyes. And maybe when I was leaving, I was a little too busy worrying about driving or getting home or whatever and busy in the moment. But just one look in those pictures, and I see my dad's gaze and my mom's kind of crumpled up face sometimes. And I know how they felt, and I know what I meant to them. And I'm hoping that I can show the world what they meant to me.
Well, it is a beautiful set of memories, and I love this very, very much. And congratulations on the project and capturing your parents in such a way that I actually feel I know them just by looking at the pictures, and I know others will feel the same. So thank you for joining us and joining the TAM fam today. Deanna Dikeman, her book is called Leaving and Waving.